There's a lovely full moon in Libra on Sunday, October 9th. It looks promising as it involves both benefics, Jupiter and Venus, and it will give us an opportunity to do some careful balancing in our life before we dive into the eclipse season and Mars retrograde. Let's take a closer look. Hi to everyone new to my channel. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer working in whole sign house system and specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. For those new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. And if you'd like to work with me, there are links down below. I am currently running a Libra season special, meaning every Libra sun born during Libra season gets 20% off natal and solar return reading. So if you'd like to gift yourself a reading and find out what the year ahead has in store for you, or what is your natal promise, natal potential, and natal strength are, check out the links down there. Wanted to tell you that I have created candles with planetary magic properties. They may or may not be already on my website because I have just created them this week, and I'm putting them on my website likely around like October, actually around the time of the full moon, which is quite exciting for me. And so there's two of them. There's Venus candle. It's pink. It's slightly pink and it has copper foil in it. And this one has Venus on the ascendant, trining moon in Aquarius. Venus is in Libra, and the moon also sextiles Jupiter. So there's like strong energy between the first house of you being very charming and beautiful. And also look at how pretty the top looks. There's a rose. Creative energy, romantic energy, partnerships, joy, pleasure. There's a limited amount of these, so you want to check out my website and take advantage. I also created oils that both the candle and the oil smells like rose, and both are good for romantic matters. And there's also a Mercury candle with this flower on it. A Mercury candle was created with Mercury on the midheaven. Mercury is exalted in Virgo in that chart, so it's great for focus, concentration, and professional advancement. Here we go. So I was not on YouTube for a little bit. Hi to everyone who missed me. If you missed me, I got sick. I went to like hang out with my friend and her almost 4-year-old who had a cold, and I ended up catching something from him. So, you know, I'm like here with my trusted tea, with my gigantic cup of tea. So if I lean on it a little bit too heavy, you know why. So this is likely to be a shorter video because we are super close to this full moon, but it is an exciting full moon. It happens on October 9th at 4:54 p.m. Eastern in 16 degrees Aries. So if you have any planets between 12 and 20 degrees Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, this might affect you the most. But for all of us, it is a completion of a cycle that started on April 1st, 2022. with a new moon in Aries. So take a look at what was happening in your life, what kind of projects you started around that time. How were you feeling about yourself? How has your confidence changed and your passions have changed since then? Because there might be some culmination to that. So this full moon happens opposite Venus, saying that there's likely some romantic tensions and some some tensions, some differences between you, your goals, and your partner's goals that become more visible, more apparent, and they might create some sort of crisis, which is not necessarily like a dramatic crisis, but even a conversation that leads to better balancing. Because like I said, we are going into the eclipse season really soon, and this is very much like what needs to be said while you can't say it in the most harmonious way, what needs to be discussed in your relationship, what needs to be weighed in order to create more harmony, right? Maybe it's as simple as like you work too much and your partner feels neglected, and you need to discuss it, and you need to give them some time and, you know, schedule a date every week or, you know, every few days. It is very self-driven, full moon. It is very much about like, our partnership is important, but I also want to make sure I am heard and my needs are satisfied. And, you know, your partner will be coming from the same place. So trying to find more balance from that kind of perspective, because we have been in Libra season starting September 23rd, right? I think it's September 23rd or 22nd. We have been in Libra season for a while, regardless, right? And like Libra season is very other people oriented. It's very friendly. It's very like social and joyful, but there's a lot of focus on other people, a lot of focus on maintaining balance. And this full moon might be your chance to reclaim yourself and remember that when you're happy, when you're satisfied, you can be a better partner, right? So I think this full moon is also about like making positive changes to who you are, to your body, to your career, to your relationships, in order to become a better version of yourself. Because other people, we can't be without other people. We're social creatures, but they oftentimes reflect at us what is going on inside of us. So if your relationship has been stagnant, or if you've been struggling, maybe it's a sign of needing to reconnect with yourself and do some balancing so that you can so that your partner will reflect that and overall relationship will improve. So following our passions, seeing our passions come true, but be careful here because Mars rules this. Full moon and Mars is squaring Neptune at this time, and actually all of October and November, most of November. So some of your ideals, some of your goals that you're excited about right now might not be sorry, what I was sick with, what still remains is like the cough and a sore throat. So that might be why I'm making weird sounds. So yeah, just be aware that some of your goals, some of your passions, and some of your ideals might need to be revisited later. I also really like that this full moon sextiles Saturn, and Saturn is very much about long-term and maturity. And it means that we have the power to approach the situation, to approach any relationship tensions. And it's not just romantic relationship tensions, right? It could be your family, it could be your co-workers, it could be your relationship with yourself. And we do have the power to overcome the difficulty. And Saturn might, the sextile to Saturn might just be a sign that like this requires careful weighing of the pros and the cons, but after you've weighed things over, you will come up with an answer. So perhaps you need to be patient, perhaps you need to like weigh the pros and the cons, and then you'll find out the best possible outcome. So let's take a quick look and see where can you expect those culminations in your chart. So for Aries rising, this full moon happens in the first house and it opposes Sun and Venus in the 7th house. This is your goals and pursuing your personal progress and allowing space for yourself and your independence versus your partnership. There's a strong pull right now to be in a partnership. There might be desire to date. There might be other people that you are involved with and kind of trying to connect with and working with. But the full moon in the first house is like calling you to be selfish, or, calling you to take care of yourself, make sure that you are finishing your, basically like focus on the duties you have to yourself, and then the better relationships can show up. So completing a personal project, letting go of a bad habit, saying this is what I want, and expressing your wants could be the theme of this full moon for you, Aries rising. For Taurus rising, we have a full moon in the 12th house, opposite Sun and Venus in the 6th house. And like Sun and Venus in the 6th may bring a lot of work into your life, but then also like a tendency to be a peacemaker professionally, to serve others and take care of others, while the full moon in Aries says that no, maybe right now you need to take a break. Maybe you need to prioritize yourself. Maybe you need to release some self-defeating tendencies, because you know, like this like Libra energy, and you are Venus ruled as well. So if you have a tendency to people please and to be a diplomat and like show up for other people and always have a smile on your face, perhaps you've been neglecting your own mental health, and this could be the time to go within, to spend some time alone, to meditate, or spend some time with your partner, but just prioritize your well-being, prioritize your mental health. Go like, I don't know, go for a run with your partner, do some therapy, journal, release negative habits, and you know, the work will always be there. For Gemini rising, we have a full moon in the 11th house, opposite Sun and Venus in the 5th house. So there could have been a lot of focus for Gemini risings on children or creative projects or pleasure, maybe, or like, you know, maybe there's been a lot of things that you've been taking care of and handling. Like my Gemini rising friend has dealt with her kid being sick. That's the child I mentioned that's almost 4 in the beginning of this video. And the full moon in the 11th, I think, calls you to look at your house of dreams and hopes and dreams, and maybe like take yourself away from like the immediate environment, from the needs of your child, or from the creative drama, romantic drama, and like take a larger look and perhaps like, you know, complete some social media project, complete a group project, look at your friendships, like think of whether your friendships are supportive or not. Definitely there could be some shuffling around of your friendships, and maybe completing and changing your dreams and being like, this is what I want, right? Because maybe you've been focusing a lot on other people, but here, this is your chance to like take charge of the things that you do want and things that make you happy. For Cancer rising, the moon, there's a full moon in the 10th house, and there's been a lot of focus with the Sun and Venus on your 4th house, so the topics of home and family, but the full moon brings your focus to the professional matters, and it calls you to make changes to your professional matters. So you might be completing a big project, you might be letting go of something, of a dynamic that doesn't feel rewarding and satisfying. Making, right? Like I feel like with the full moon in Aries, you are feeling like pursuing passions. So if there's been a sense in the last 6 months that you don't feel valued, or you don't feel like satisfied, or you don't feel like there's enough spark in the professional sector, this might be the time to let that go. Or this might also be the time when you feel rewarded and recognized for the work that you've been doing. And if this resonates and you are a Cancer rising, let me know in the comments below. For Leo rising, there's a full moon in the 9th house, opposite Sun and Venus in the 3rd house. And you may experience a change to your thinking, to your attitude and mindset, right? There might be like a belief shift, a perspective shift about your place in the world. There might be changes to matters related to travel. Maybe you've been traveling a lot, right? And you're sort of coming home and completing that chapter of your life. Maybe you've been traveling a lot through your mind and you've been studying something, and this could be like a sign of completing education, graduating, or taking your education to the next level where you become a teacher. basically saying like, this is what I believe, this is what I want to offer, this is my message, I think is an important theme of this full moon for Leo risings. For Virgo rising, we have a full moon in the 8th house, and it's opposing Sun and Venus in the 2nd house. Full moon in the 8th could bring a change to the resources you share with others. It could also mean a change to your group dynamics and your partnerships with other people, right? Like it could be as simple as paying off a debt, although I don't know how simple that is, but like it could be the time you pay off a debt, or it could be the time when you have a conversation with a friend or a partner or a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, and you discuss what you want in the relationship and what makes you feel valued, and you know, you kind of transform your dynamic, your give and take dynamic, and assert yourself and say, these are my needs, these are my desires, and based on what the other person can, want, or is willing to share with you, you make further actions, right? But this could be like, it's a change in the sector of other people's resources. So your partner might be going through a change financially as well that affects you. And changes to therapy. In therapy, transforming painful experiences are also some possibilities here. For Libra rising, there's a full moon in the sector of relationships. So all the Libra risings, raise your hand and tell me if you are experiencing some kind of romantic change in your life, if there has been a relationship or a business partnership that might be coming full circle, right? Like what has started in your life in the last 6 months? Because this full moon, there's tension, right? Like there's tension between Venus and the Sun in your 1st house, shining light on you, your identity, your creative pursuits, your hobbies, your look and appearance, and the moon being in the house of relationships, asking you to do some careful balancing, asking you to assert yourself in a relationship, to make sure that you are taking care of you. Maybe it's a step of growth. Libra risings have a lot of relationship energy coming up, right? Like Jupiter is currently backing out of your 7th house, which remind me to make a video about Jupiter and Pisces coming up. But Jupiter will be back in your 7th house in 2023. And then starting like April, May, we're going to start to have eclipses in your 7th house. So if you're not in a relationship right now and you're seeking to be in one, there's likely to be one. So there's definitely a possibility with this full moon of like a commitment, change to your relationship status. But this could also be about learning to value yourself and learning to speak up and doing a better balancing act when it comes to your goals and the goals of the relationship. Because you are a Libra rising, and it's likely that you want a relationship, but you really want to be careful with losing yourself in a relationship. Also, have you noticed how pretty are my flowers? Anyways, for Scorpio risings, we have a full moon in the 6th house opposite the Sun and Venus in the 12th. I like this full moon for Scorpio risings, considering we are about to go into the eclipse season, and there is about to happen a solar eclipse on October 25th in your 1st house. So as you go through this period of like new beginnings in your life, one Scorpio rising I know is getting engaged around, later in the month. So as you go through these major changes in your life, and more of them are coming, are there things that you need to take care of in your everyday life? Are there things that necessary for your well-being? Do you need to get a massage? Do you need to get a health checkup? Do you need to organize your routines, clear your space? What kind of things need to be done for you to feel better and feel more centered? Because it's all great if there's like relationship changes in your life, but you need to make sure that you are allowing space to take care of your physical body and take care of your mind through taking care of your environment. So spend some time giving yourself love, spend some time handling any, you know, work matters, health problems, and like bring better structures into your life. Good tea. For Sag risings, we have a full moon in the 5th house, opposite Sun, Venus in the 11th house. For Sag risings, this could be a completion of fun affair. Let's say like you've dated someone very casually, and this could be a change here. This might be the time when you let that go, or this could be a time when that relationship transforms and moves to a more serious level, becomes a more, you know, goes into the 7th house. Let's say you take a fun fling and turn it into a more significant relationship. It's also, I think, an invitation, because there's so much focus on your friendships and your hopes and dreams and your plans for the future. Here it's like, if you've been too focused on other people and like too caught up, or, you know, too focused on your dreams, this is your invitation to just play, to have some fun, to go out, to spend some time dancing, to take up a creative hobby and get centered and like remember what makes you excited, what gets you going, what makes you have fun, and, you know, take care of yourself, make yourself smile, make yourself happy, and then your relationships and, you know, your dreams can wait, basically. For Capricorn rising, we have a full moon in the 4th house, opposite Sun and Venus in the 10th house. And if you've been very focused on your professional matters, you've been like kicking things and checking things off your list. I was talking to a Capricorn rising friend, and like, you know, I have 3 planets in Virgo, and I was like, I had a productive day, but I feel like not accomplished enough. And she's like, my Capricorn rising can relate, because it doesn't matter, right? Like, I had more items on my to-do list than I accomplished, which is always the case. Is that the case for you guys, Capricorn risings? Or if you're not Capricorn rising, still watching. But anyways, Libra season could have been very work-oriented for you guys. And this full moon is about home and family and changes to home and family. And it's not always necessarily about like your immediate family, but it's about your sense of comfort and safety and security. So career matters are great. There's a lot of good energy right now, but this full moon is asking you to look at your place of living. And, you know, the same Capricorn rising friend, while she is kicking butt when it comes to her professional pursuits, her home situation is a little bit unsteady right now. So I can definitely see her, you know, figuring that out during this full moon. And while you figure that out, while you bring more stability into your living situation or into your relationship with your family, you allow more space to pursue professional things and more kind of joy from professional things. For Aqua rising, we have a full moon in the 3rd house, opposite Sun and Venus in the 9th house. For Aqua rising, there might be changes to your immediate environment, to your skills, to your hobbies, to your schedule. There might also be like as simple as you need to upgrade your tech, because the Sun and Venus being in your 9th house may have focused you on expanding your world, studying new things, becoming a teacher, becoming a mentor, taking on, taking on new heights, right? Like following new heights. But while you do that, perhaps you have forgotten to, like, I don't know, get your favorite coffee, or upgrade or check your car, get yourself a new computer, or like take care of some immediate things and people in your immediate environment. So this could be the time to focus on that, to bring more stability, to maybe like journal, write, take care of your home, of your car, of your bills, and bring like a better coherence to your schedule so that you're free to go out there in the world and take care of those big dreams and new projects that you're pursuing. Finally, for Pisces rising, there's a full moon in the second house opposing Sun and Venus in the 8th house. Full moon in the second house could be good for your money, could bring changes to your financial situation. Perhaps you get a job, perhaps you get a raise, you may start a business. You may also feel more valued, or maybe it's the time for you to claim your worth and ask for a raise and ask for more money, because it's a full moon in Aries and it's being like, heck yeah, I deserve all the money I can get from you guys. But there might be some tension between what you want and what your values are and what your professional partner or your romantic partner values and desires. So this might also be like a lovely opportunity to air things out and talk them out. Like, how do you see your money, right? Like, do you perceive things as like 50-50, or do you want them to do 60% and you do 40%? Or like, have you discussed any of those things, right? Like, and that could be both professional and romantic. There might be a need to just like rethink certain things, talk about them openly and honestly, and speak up about your values and not compromise them. You know, it's important to compromise in relationships. I feel like I'm like so hyped up on this Aries energy, no compromises. But like, no, you need to compromise in order to have a healthy relationship, but you also need to be honest. And if there's some deal breakers, like, you know, you want children and your partner doesn't want children, they already have a child and they're done, those are some important things to talk about. And there's no use in not talking about those things. So I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great full moon in Aries. Like I said, it's an exciting full moon before the eclipse season that is really unpredictable and impossible to know what it might bring. So have a good time. Let me know how it goes, because, you know, because I was sick, this video is coming like really, really close to full moon. So tell me if you're feeling this already, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.